meeting to order of Leavenworth County Commission. Invite everyone to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everyone for being here today. For the record, all three commissioners are present. I'd like to start with public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address.
Good morning. My name is Jeanette Labby Haldeman. I live in Lansing, Kansas. And I was here probably 2 or 3 weeks ago because the dynamics, I'm back again today because I feel that the dynamics has changed in government since I was here. I was here to ask you to consider allowing the expansion of our 3-person commission to 5 people to better represent the people of Leavenworth County. Since that time, Mr. Clyde Graver has announced his resignation after many years of public service. Thank you for your service and dedication, Clyde. I am appealing to him specifically to make a motion to allow for a public vote in 2018, on the 2018 ballot for the expansion of the county commission. Why now? It would allow him to claim this huge step towards a broader representation for the people as part of his remarkable legacy. In doing so, it would provide the citizens group, of which I'm part, that support expansion to take more time in educating the public on why there is a need for a greater representation. Please consider this, Clyde. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kirk Sowers, Tailgate Ranch down in Linwood, Kansas. Just would like to encourage the commission this morning as we discuss the County Road 1 corridor land use study let's go ahead and get that study initiated. And I would ask that the study be done by a third-party group, not affiliated with either state or local government. And that's
kind of what our proposal is today.
Good. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Public comment?
Good morning. My name's Cecilia Pruitt, 21800 Parallel Road, Tonganoxie, Kansas. All of you know my stance on clean water and clean air that I've been supporting. I do want to remind people that 800,000 people get their water from the CAW. Just a little interesting fact. Most of my comments today I have for you, Mr. Holland. I understand from a statement that you've sent out that you haven't heard from people who were concerned about this plant. I hope you understand that there's been some mix-up with your email, and people have been trying to rectify that. People were having their emails returned, but I think that we fixed that. What I would like to do, sir, is offer you a copy of this movie, Under Contract, Farmers in the Fine Print. It explains how Tyson treats Tyson and other people's, what happens with the small farmer. And if I can leave this information with you, I'll be glad to pick it up at a further meeting. If you would please just do us the honor of watching it so you can find out some things about how manure is the responsibility of the farmer, and there really is not any jurisdiction. That being said, I've looked up the Leavenworth standards for lagoons. What I can find is pretty dated, 2005, and seems, at least to me, to apply more to personal lagoons. So I think that's something we need to look into updating. Thank you so much.
I think your larger lagoons are under jurisdiction of KDHE. It's really not a county.
There's not any way the county can have any inspections or any rulings on it. Can we at least look into that to see what the county could do?
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is David Compton. I'm at 17320 Blue Moon Lane in Tonganoxie. Just a couple of things, I'll be brief with it. We would like for you guys to consider land value impacts, and we probably need a further study on setback requirements and regulations given to the potential of new operations in the surrounding counties. We're also concerned about the significant pollution potential from commercial poultry growers. And since Jefferson County, as I understand, I'm new to the area, just 5 weeks in. As I understand, Jefferson County has passed a similar resolution recently in terms of a moratorium on poultry growing operations larger than 2,000 birds. And that's something I would like for you guys, now that we seem to have a little bit of a breathing room here with what's going on with Tyson, for us to protect ourselves so that we can kind of close the back door here and not allow large corporations like this to come in and essentially make us a coal mining operation here, where we're dependent on one corporation such as Tyson throughout the environment. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hello, gentlemen. My name is Craig Hayes, 17325 178th Street. My concern is on hazmat. Now, let me lay a little background. I've got a biology degree, dabbled in microbiology, biology, chemistry. I'm a chemical officer graduate. I've been to 2 different brigades as a chemical officer. Undergraduate of the chemical officer advanced course. A commander of the 73rd CST. I know a thing or two about common hazards and hazmat. I'm also a certified hazmat technician. However, that takes every 2 years to recertify. I'm no longer certified on that, but again, I know a little bit about hazmat. Looking at the ERIC 2016 on ammonia, we know that at least that chemical is tied in with Tyson. We know that 2 folks were injured. That was down in Hutchinson, I believe. My concern looking at the ERIC 2016, looking at 1.3 miles downwind hazard area. When you do a ground zero at the Tyson plant and you start wrapping a circle around it, that includes a whole lot of folks. My other concern is not just the plant, but that product has to get to Tyson. That's got to go through Tonganoxie. It's got to go along the highways. Now we're talking a tanker truck filled with this product. Now when you start looking at highway tank truck, now we're looking at more like 2 miles. Wherever that accident is, wherever that product is released. When we're doing all this rezoning, have we taken into consideration the hazmat aspect and what Leavenworth County is going to have to deal with, what the Tonganoxie Fire Departments have to deal with? By the way, I was with the Tonganoxie Fire Department for 5 years. I'm a certified firefighter 1 and certified fire 2. And Chuck McGaw and Tonganoxie Fire Department, we worked on evacuating the retirement home there in Tonganoxie when they had a small fire. It took a long time to get those people out. Shelter in place only works if you're in the building, if the HVAC system is shut down, if there are no windows open, and if all the kids are inside at the time. We're also looking at the Leavenworth Fairground. All those thousands of people there. Where's the wind go on that? The Tonganoxie football games. Again, hundreds, if not thousands of folks there. They cannot get to a building to shelter in place. They are out in the open. That's all I got. Thank you.
Mr. Hayes, were you under the impression we were voting on zoning today?
I was.
And, well, let me clear that up. This has not ever been applied for zoning. I know there were some claims that the 3-board commission was going to vote on the zoning today, but that's not the case. It's not been to zoning. It's not got to our level. So.
Good. In that case, sir, you got the information. You can give it Chuck, and you can get the details on. We've got to know what the products are that they have and the quantities in order to fully determine what the hazmat disaster could be.
And then, like I said, that if this company would have applied for rezoning, that's when letters would have been sent out to the surrounding property owners. That's when all the impact studies would have been done. It's just that nobody has applied for rezoning of that property. Am I correct, Mr. Joseph, as of yet?
Yes, nobody has applied.
No one has applied. Mr. Joseph's our planning and zoning director. Nobody from this company has applied for rezoning of that property. If we'll take one more, and then we got to get back on the agenda items.
I just was going to say, please try to understand, we've been kept in the dark in this, so we are working hard to educate ourselves, and it's not that we don't trust you, but we've been put in a position of not feeling trust. So we're just working hard to prepare in advance and be educated, and I appreciate your help in that.
Okay, thank you. I'll take one more, and then we'll go back on the agenda items.
I'm Janice Bernhardt, 22927 Wooded Road, and I understand now that this isn't a zoning issue, but I'm wondering, before it becomes one, is there anything that can be done to tighten the zoning to avoid the chickenization of Leavenworth County?
And that's what one of our agenda items is today. Isn't it on there? Oh, the County Road 1, we're going out for request for a third party to do a land use study on County Road 1.
And also, how will the landowners that are in that district be informed, and how long do you think it will take for that study to be completed?
Until we get some proposals on price and to see where the money's going to come from, and see if possibly the city of Tonganoxie could participate financially in helping us with that. I can't answer that.
6 months, guesstimate?
It'd be 2018. We'll get it done in 2018, I'm sure.
Thank you.
But until we get a proposal, I can't answer that. All right, thank you. All right, we'll go on to administrative business. Mr. Lawford, do we have any administrative business?
Well, I had asked Mr. Luchin to come up and talk to you about the
He's coming in the door.
He's here. He just couldn't get in.
Okay. Last week you had asked for him to come up to discuss the dust control on 182nd.
Oh yeah.
Morning, Commissioners. Commissioner Smith had asked for an update on 182nd Street. In June, I had sent out letters to all of the property owners requesting right-of-way donation in exchange for the road improvements. The end of July, we had an owner meeting, met with the owners, talked about the project, answered any questions that they had. To date, we have received 13 of the 20 easements back from the property owners, so 65% have donated the right-of-way in exchange for the improvements. That's pretty much where we stand right now.
Have you had contact with the ones that have not agreed to donate?
No, I haven't reached back out to them a second time.
I mean, is this something we're going to have to just do an eminent domain on, being as this road does have the...
Well, I'll reach out to them a second time, and then we'll see if we need to go to...
Have you been down to see how the dust control's holding up?
Yeah, I was down there. I think I went down there after I had heard you had requested an update.
Yeah, it's not holding up with 500 and some cars. It's kind of dusty last I was on it.
It's been hot until this week. It's been hot and dry.
Right.
So we've had 2 or 3 weeks of dry, hot weather. But compared to an untreated road, you could still tell the chemical was working compared to an untreated road.
Yeah.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
would you follow up and make sure that you at least get East McIntyre Road on the consideration list for next year? It really is dusty. There's people
You mean
that,
east of K7?
yeah.
Yeah, that one's out to bid right now.
Yeah.
We open bids next week, I believe.
Okay. What was it? So they shot it at, they used a half a gallon per square yard. What, if you got a price, what would it cost? You remember what it was on a half a gallon per square yard on that?
It cost, I believe that was between $6,000 and $7,000 to treat that section of road.
Okay, so if they reshot it with a quarter gallon per square yard, and it's basically half probably.
Well, I mean, we're almost in October.
Right.
Weather's supposed to be cooling off next week. Typically, we start getting more rain. We drove gravel road right next a mile away, and it was considerably more dusty than the road that had been treated with the chemical.
Okay.
So I would expect after the rain we had earlier this week that it's probably very little dust on
Is
that.
the road holding up though?
Well,
As far as the, because we typically don't grade the road after we dust control unless it's
Right,
want some moisture.
right. Once it's sprayed, you can't.
Right.
You virtually can't grade it. So.
Okay. All right.
Could I ask you a question,
Sure.
David? 207th, I got a complaint. They wanted the road watered, and I said, we need to let it set as you instructed me, and for a 30-day period. Are we approaching that 30-day period?
Yeah, early October,
Okay.
weather permitting, we'll start sealing 207th. All the base rock's done. Yeah, that one's nearing completion on that one.
It's the same person.
You will get 2 shots on it this year.
Hopefully, yes. Weather permitting, we should get 2 shots on it.
May have to do back to back.
Yeah, hopefully we can have a little break in between them.
Okay.
But all weather dependent.
All right. Well, so you're going to start making contact with the folks that haven't donated?
Yeah, I'll make a second contact with the 7 remaining property owners that haven't donated at this point.
Were they against the project or anybody, or?
I haven't heard any issues from them, any pluses or negatives.
Okay.
From the remaining
Have the starters been working on this?
I've talked to most of them. The only one that's kind of got a problem is the guy down on the north end of it.
Right.
Some of them sent them in, and David says he can't find them.
Okay.
Did you ever get the drainage? The 2 out for the drainage problem on that north end
I don't know which one that. Oh, the guy that's got the long driveway too. Maybe can you work on that, being through your neighbors?
Yeah, I can talk to him again. I've talked to him.
If you would, because we need to speed this up. We got too many cars per day on that road.
Yeah, the road's falling apart fast.
Well,
And
if we have to go to eminent domain, that's going to slow the process down even more.
Right. So if we could get the right-of-way donated, it'd sure speed that project up.
Well, David's having, I don't know if he's having a problem or not. The engineers haven't sent out letters to Dalton and the other lady for the fees.
Okay. All right. We'll get back on it. All right. That all you have, Dave? All right. Thank you.
Hey, Doug, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So we're close to Wood End Road, which, as you know, the dust and everything is continual there. And now you guys block it during the sunflower season, which is great. But it seems like, to me, I see you guys regrading it, and regrading it. How is the cost efficient with like how many times you grade versus actually
We're going by a traffic count, and this particular road had 537 cars a day.
That's not enough.
No, that's way too many.
No, I meant like to go from gravel to actually topping it. I'm just saying, like, when does it get to the point of traffic when you say it's better, cost more money to?
Well, low volume road standard is 400 cars a day. Anything below 400 cars a day, but at 400 cars a day, it's way past time to upgrade it. basically in the south end of the county, we have several roads that we've got between 200 and 300 cars a day, and they're pretty difficult to maintain. But this one here is past our low volume road protection. We have to do something with it. So, anyway. All right, any other administrative business this time? I just got the Anderson Bird bill. Have you looked over the bill, Commissioner?
I did. I move approval.
Second, voting.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Has commissioners had a chance to look at the minutes?
I have. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, there's one line in it that a motion was made by Commissioner Graber and seconded by Commissioner Smith to revoke Resolution 2017-52 and to review each section separately for consideration. That was my motion. I move we amend the minutes to read that way.
Okay. So is that your motion?
Yes.
Second.
Voting.
Aye.
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 Okay. And commissioners had a chance to look at the agenda for next week. We'd like to add CASA on Monday to that.
What are you adding on Monday?
The CASA group.
I don't know if you got the memo on CASA yet. But
I just got it this morning.
okay.
We got kind of a full agenda next week.
We're going to be
Chairman, I received a call from a very, very nice lady living in Leavenworth.
Okay.
After about 20 minutes, I agreed that I would distribute to each of you a copy of a letter that appeared in the Kansas City Star and give one to the county administrator in connection with roundabouts.
Okay.
It's a very good letter, and I think it's worthy of being read.
Well, I will definitely do that, but we'll, I'm sure this is related to the Eisenhower project, because that's the only thing that a roundabout has ever
The
came up
only
on.
time we ever brought it up unless they're the one out on the county road going into Gilman Road.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there, didn't
It was just-
KDOT talk about a roundabout?
Might have.
Well,
that was been
but
years
that-
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was years ago when we
That
talked
might have
about
been
that.
back when KDOT had money.
Right.
They
You're
don't have
right.
that now.
Well, anyway, please read the
I
letter.
will sure
It
read
is
that, and like I said, the
excellent.
only issue we have is either a stoplight or a roundabout on Eisenhower and 20th, and I think a stoplight would be appropriate, but that's
Well,
my opinion.
There's actually, a road count that dictates what that.
Right.
So we actually could go with a stop sign, stoplight, or a roundabout.
But I think while it's being constructed is going to be your most, the cheapest way to deal with it is you're building the road instead of going back later. I know you guys approved to have it electrical all plumbed
Right.
for a stoplight, but
Well, that was to give the city of Leavenworth a chance. If they want a stoplight on that road,
Right.
then they have
Right.
the opportunity to pay for it and put it
and
up.
that's what we'll do is bid alternatives.
Yeah.
We'll do alternate bids on that. All right. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Graber, and I will read that. And, okay, we don't have any, so we got
OCBs.
no OCBs today,
Okay.
and we're ready for planning and zoning. Oh, yeah, we do need to approve the agenda for next week with the addition.
Motion to approve the agenda and with
Second.
the add-on.
Voting.
Aye.
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 Okay. Planning and zoning, Mr. Joseph.
Good morning, Mr. here to talk to you about the request for qualifications for a land use study for Long County Road 1. As you can see on the map, that's the special development district that was established back in 2009. There's been a moratorium ever since 2007. The idea was to establish.
Is it on?
The idea was to establish a moratorium or a land use study for that area. Due to lack of funding, we have never been able to do that. So we have prepared an RFQ for that purpose. We request that we do that as soon as possible because of the interest in that area.
Okay.
As Commissioner Smith asked, would Tonganoxie be asked to join this
Yes,
process?
I did speak to the city manager, and I think he's here to talk about that as well.
Okay. Like I said, nobody can commit to anything until we get a price quote on what it's going to cost.
Correct.
So are you
RFQ.
asking for an RFP today?
No, it's an RFQ. The next step would be to ask for an RFP, and then after that we we select the people who will be doing it. So.
And obvious, if the city of Tonganoxie would participate in helping financially, then we'd have a committee choose this group, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It'll be a stakeholder group.
Okay.
So then just to explain the process, after that there will be a lot of public meetings with everybody who's involved in it. So it's not just something that we come up with, it'll be from the people in that
All
area.
the landowners that
Yes.
will be affected will be involved with these
Yes.
meetings? Okay. Wish we'd have done this when they cut the ribbon on the interchange. But it would have probably been a lot cheaper.
Yeah, probably would have been.
Been a lot cheaper to get it done. But so you need a motion to approve to go out for a request on that?
Yes.
So moved.
Second. Voting?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
The city manager from Tonganoxie is here. I don't know if you have any questions for him.
Well, until we get what this is going to cost, I mean, I'm sure Tongi's is willing to participate. It's going to be affected the most by this of any land use in that area. Unless the city manager has anything to add.
Sure. George Brakovich, 526 East 4th Street. I just wanted to thank Mr. Joseph for personally coming out and visiting with staff and giving us the historical information. Obviously, we have a lot of interest in this growth area. It coincides well with what the city's doing as far as our own comprehensive plan. And in fact, looking at some of the material Mr. Joseph gave me, quantifiable numbers in terms of just the mass quantity of how the county has grown since 2009 in the city. Those are disparaging numbers, but if you look at the growth rate, the county's grown at about approximately 10%, a little bit under. The city's grown at about 20%. So then as we look at our own comprehensive plan, we're really looking at our future growth areas. And the way that map is distributed, you can see where our business park is highlighted in yellow. We are looking at those 2, 3, 5 mile intervals outside of city limits. And I think it would be a great opportunity to sync what the city's doing as far as a comprehensive plan, combining it with a corridor study like this, and ultimately having both of those be a public process where city council as well as the citizens and the community can weigh in on their concerns in those areas. So we're absolutely willing to be a participant in it, and we are eager to see what the budgetary impact is. Again, it's a small city, small budget. We don't have planners on staff, but we are willing to participate in the project.
In your previous jobs, you had much experience with agencies that provide this service?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And there's local firms that provide that service?
Yes. Yes, it was very typical to go to a third party as opposed to having in-house staff do that.
Well, I would be totally against in-house, because they've got the regular jobs to do. That just take away from something else.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Okay. Being there's a lot of folks here from that area, does anyone want to comment on the land use study with we're getting ready to go out for a price on?
I think that we should have a couple of public comment, like in Tonganoxie, we should have a group that's at like a community group that can just pose casual questions, like what are we talking about? Because by the time it gets to us, sometimes all the decisions have already been made, and we need to know what the county's thinking, what our Tonganoxie people are thinking. So I want to have another thing in Tonganoxie that's just us, our people in Reno and Tonganoxie area, because we want development, we want high-end development, we want to also keep our farmers like in the loop, because this is still an ag area, so it's both. Personally, I'm saying myself, I want both. I want that kind of growth, and I want to make sure that we keep it still rural. And also, like maybe 2 weeks ago, we were hearing about the little pod housing thing going on. I didn't stay through the whole thing, but I heard over and over again people saying the rural character of the area, and we need to keep it looking this certain way. It's a rural character. I think that that's all the things we needed to talk about. This is to keep it high end, but also the industrial stuff needs to be carefully dealt with because of our property values. So personally, I want us to have some discussions in Tonganoxie about all this, so that we as community people can actually just ask stupid questions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that. And I agree that we should have done it back in '09. It's kind of a continuation of that interchange there.
Right.
It's really all together. It's kind of picking it back up again.
Yep, all right. Yes.
Did I understand that you said 2018 before this study might be complete?
Yes.
And, okay, will there be any zoning decisions made prior to that that could impact that area since
That area is under a moratorium right now. So there's no building, it'd have to come to this board to grant a variance under the moratorium. And I think there's been 2 since the moratorium, since there's a couple barns, I believe, is all it was. They were ag barns. But no, it's under a moratorium.
Thank you.
That was another layer of this last project that was. Okay.
Our property comes really close to this. There's like a 35-acre farm between our property and where this is proposed. And my question is, all of these small farms around here, the neighbors, our neighbors, if you rezone this, what's going to happen with their farms? Are they going to continue until they're ready to sell? Or will they be forced to sell?
No, nobody will be forced to sell.
Okay. And we didn't have a say in Tyson come to town. Will we have a say in what type of businesses go in? Because I agree with him. I'm for growth, but the right type of growth. I don't want something that's going to hurt the environment or the people of Tonganoxie. We've been there 11 years and we have grown to love that community, okay?
And that's why this land use study is going to be done.
Okay.
And yes.
If land is something that's agriculture,
Yes.
our taxes are, pretty good. So if it gets rezoned as something else and we're still ag, is that going to change our tax?
I don't believe it'll be rezoned. It's just going to have an area marked out that says, that a future use can be rezoned for that.
It's kind of like if you would sell your property, then it would be rezoned and the taxes would go up on it.
But as long as
As long as you
There's
stay
always
ag.
taxed as the current use.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We have anything else for us today? Okay. Then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.